the office of the Republican County Chair, and that is Barbara Upham and Steve Gray. And so I'm going to read the job description briefly here. The Republican County Chair leads the local Republican Party organization, coordinating party activities, supporting candidates, and organizing volunteers and fundraising events. They work to promote the party's platform and build voter engagement at the county level. So Steve won the coin toss, so Barbara gets to go first. So Barbara, come on up here, and I will ask this very easy question. Introduce yourself and tell us why you would be the best person for this position. You have 1 minute.
Can everybody hear me? We're good? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Upham, your Republican County Chair. I am so glad to be here tonight with my fellow conservatives. I was born and raised in Mineral Wells, where I attended Mineral Wells and schools and graduated from high school. I attended the University of Texas at Arlington, where I received a BPA in accounting. I am currently the 4th generation owner of my family's business, Upham Oil and Gas Company. I am the mother of 2 daughters, and I have 3 granddaughters. I have been involved in agriculture and oil and gas all of my life. As we all know, the Palo County area is changing. We have new business coming in as well as new people. As I've said before, we want to be a Republican Party for everyone, no matter if you are new or native, young or old. I believe the Republican Party has an obligation to share our conservative values and grow the party. Thanks for coming tonight, and I'm asking for your vote.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Steve?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Gray. I'm evidently the new kid on the block. I've only been here 12 years. I chose to come here to retire, where my 2 kids and 8 grandkids could come hang out in the lovely Palo County. It's a fabulous place. It's the most friendly place we've ever been. I've been with the fire department 10 of those 12 years. I've fought fires in every corner of Palo County, including Mineral Wells, PK, and the southern part down here. I'm a retired engineer from General Dynamics, where I worked for 30 years, doing a lot of airplane things on F-16s, F-22s, and F-35s. Dealing with a lot of issues on airplanes, where I learned a lot about how to deal with interesting situations. I've voted for every presidential Republican candidate since Gerald Ford lost to poor old Jimmy Carter. But ever since, I voted for every one of them, including Trump 3 times. My main interest is getting the Palo County Party to engage with the state to help Texas stay red on all the various state issues.
Thank you. Stay there. In a Republican majority Texas House, should the Republicans give Democrats committee or subcommittee chairmanships? Meaning, should they give Democrats power in committees?
Well, that's a real quick answer. Hell no. I mean, that just strikes me as outrageous. The Texas House is one of the very, very few legislative houses in the state, in the United States, that does that. The nearest one to what we do is, guess what? Minnesota. Minnesota has power sharing arrangements similar to this. You can talk to Governor Tim Walz about how that works. I don't want to see Texas go there. You know, we say we don't want to make Texas California. I don't want it to be Minnesota either. Every House committee now has a Democrat deputy chairman. I don't know if you know that. There were some things last cycle, the way they got out of giving them chairmanships is to give them all subcommittee chairmanships. And that is where legislation for conservatives goes to die. There were 5,000 bills submitted in the last cycle. 4,000 of them didn't get to a vote because they were held up in committee and the time ran out because, you know, we only have 70 days in the legislative cycle. So the Texas House is where this really, really matters. I'm totally against having Democrats be subcommittee chairs. That's it.
All right, thank you. Barbara? Would you like me to repeat the question?
Sure.
Okay. In a Republican majority Texas House, should the Republicans give Democrats committee or subcommittee chairmanships? Meaning, should they give Democrats power in committees?
Well, I have always been of the belief that if you win the majority, then you have the chairmanship, the minority get the vice chairmanships. I think that this is a logical and very workable situation. It is certainly an incentive for a party to work hard to win the actual seats. The Texas Republican Party of Texas, worked hard. Now, there were conservative Democrats back in the day that did allow and appoint some of the more minor committees. They allowed chairmanships that were Republicans. But now, in this day and time, with our larger population, our more educated voters, I think that if you want your people to have the chairmanships of the committees and the subcommittees, because things get hung up so easily in committee deliberations and never get to the floor. So time after time, legislative session after legislative session, things really don't get passed that should. So you win the majority, you should have the majority, you should have the chairmanships.
Thank you. Stay up there while you're there. Okay, thank you. So, Barbara, at one of the last Republican Executive Committee meetings, there was a resolution written by the conservatives requesting the City Council of Mineral Wells to consider lowering the water rate to the proper amount. Currently, the citizens of Mineral Wells and some of the wholesale customers like Santo are being charged for a $200 million debt, when in reality there's only $96 million on the books. You tried to stop the resolution from going to a vote. Why?
Because it did not have any jurisdiction with the governing body, the City of Mineral Wells, or the Palo County Water District number 1. There just is not a jurisdiction. There was no legal standing. It was something that was party involved. That was the reason.
Right. Thank you. Steve? Unless you have more. Right, yes. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Sure.
Okay. Actually yours is a little different since you were not the county chair. So if you were the county chair, would you support the resolution which is asking for the City of Mineral Wells to consider to reduce the water rate, and why?
Yeah, so that was a key word you just used. When we submitted the resolution, I wrote most of the resolution, it probably did say demanding that this happen. We agreed to modify that fairly immediately in the whole discussion to be a recommendation per what Barbara was saying. The problem is the mineral wells people, Santo people for sure, and pretty much everybody that gets water out of the lake is going to pay a huge amount of money. And you know, it's 146% right now. It hasn't been explained well. There's been a lot of traffic on the internet about who said what and who showed what and so forth. But the bottom line is people don't understand it, and they're paying in advance on the $200 million when only 96 has been actually billed, actually taken out to pay interest on. And with the year-long delay already, it's going to be longer than a year. It's going to be, you know, the budgeting was for $200 million. It's already going to be $450 million. And by the time it actually goes forward, who knows how much it's going to be. So the point of the resolution was simply to advocate for the people that are paying the water bills so that they could understand what they're paying for, and they could segregate the money that was being collected against the bills that are already coming in to pay the interest, because they have to do that. So the point was, explain this to us and don't and segregate the money so that it doesn't just vanish into the ether. And explain it to the people so they know what they're paying for. And frankly, probably it would be better to figure out a new plan, because this is just happening and the money's going away. So the Conservative Party should, and the Republican Party should have championed this issue to the state, to the city, and to the water board to explain it to the people and justify it and be able to vote on it, frankly.
Okay, thank you. You stay up there. So, closing remarks.
Okay, closing remarks. Like I said, I'm the new kid on the block. I'm a believer in term limits. I think term limits, I think one of the other candidates earlier today said something about, you know, term limits are good for change, for people using the, you know, knowing how to do new things, bring new blood to the system. And I would like the opportunity to do that for the county. I think I would like to engage the county more in state politic issues so that Texas does not become California, like I mentioned earlier. There are a number of issues where we need to educate people, have more meetings like this, where we can have people come in who are experts on the various issues that come before us for voting on propositions. There's a whole raft of propositions on the upcoming ballot that we should talk about beforehand so people are educated about them and can vote, you know, with a background on what the question is all about. And I'd like to do that, and I would appreciate your vote.
I am running again to serve the voters and candidates of Palomino County who share the Republican Party's philosophy and values. I am running for county chair to keep the Republican Party growing and evolving and relevant to current issues. I am running for county chair to support local voters, local government, limited government, and conservative values. I am Barbara Upham, and I am asking for your vote to continue as your Republican County Chair. Thank you, and God bless Palomino County.
Are there any questions in the crowd for these two candidates? Dave Bullock. Let me get the microphone. David Miller. You might, oh, maybe not. You might. You're a singer, that's right, you do not.
As Republican Party Chairman, would you be willing, both of you, to take classes on Robert's Rules of Order in order to run the meeting correctly? Robert's Rules of Order.
Can you hear me?
Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, I'll repeat it. I'll go there.
If you're elected, would you be willing to take classes and formal training on how to conduct a meeting with Robert's Rules of Order?
Right, so everybody get that Robert's Rules. Robert's rules are how meetings are conducted, generally speaking. You know, how you make motions, how you first and second them, how you have debate, blah, blah, blah. Sure, I would be happy to do that. I've served on lots of committees. I did stuff in school where I ran meetings that were all run by Robert's rules. It can get pretty crazy if you ever watch the House television on how they really, really do it with, you know, people getting in line and so forth. But it's something that people can do. I'm familiar with it myself, and sure, if people would like that to happen, I'd be happy to do that.
And Barbara?
Oh yes, most definitely. I'm always trying to find the latest revised version of Robert's Rules of Order. Ever since I was first parliamentarian of my Brownie Scout troop, I never have found out who Robert actually was. I would like to meet the man. But yes, we do conduct our meetings, our conventions, under Robert's Rules of Order.
Thank you. I see a question over here. What do you want? You're welcome.
This is for both of you. I would like to know how you feel about paper ballots. I know President Trump really pushing it. So I'd like to know both of you how you feel about it for our students.
Barbara, you're first on this one.
The issue of paper ballots is really it's twofold. Although President Trump made a statement about paper ballots, that is harder than just talking about. It does not translate as a directive from the Republican Party of Texas. Without the backing of the state party, we would have hand counting that would cost the party estimates of between $110,000 and $170,000. Along with that, we would need to have workers, over 300 plus workers, to just hand count the ballots. And we would have to find additional poll sites because countywide voting would no longer be allowed. This is a process that takes a lot of time to study. It takes a lot of time to plan. The state law that allows this was just passed in the most recent legislative session in 25. It really did not give enough time to prepare for the March primary.
Thank you. Steve?
This was one of the most divisive meetings we had this year in the County Executive Council. My view on paper ballots is when half of the nation doesn't trust the electronic voting systems, if it's 51% or 49%, it doesn't really matter. When you should feel that if half of your nation doesn't trust the voting system, that you should change the voting system. And I believe paper ballots are a great thing. Maybe they're a little harder to do. Maybe they take a little more manpower. I'm not sure I believe the cost estimate is different because the cost estimates for electronic voting don't include system updates, system testing. It's like your laptop. You know, every year you find more bills that you have to pay every year, whether you do anything new or not. So I don't believe the actual cost difference is necessarily correct. The Republican Party of Texas is in favor of hand counting ballots. The Secretary of State is not in favor of it. And we've had lawyers come from the Secretary of State's office telling us why it's a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. I think we should move to that.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Patrick? Another one of my singing friends.
All right. So, I think both of you are interested in expanding the Republican Party in Palo Pinto County. What specific steps would you take to do that?
I think there's Barbara first on here. No, you're first. Sorry, I'm not here. Go ahead.
So the question is, what steps would we take to grow the party? One of the things we've done to grow the conservative Republican group, and like I said earlier, I think everybody that is on our conservative Palo Pinto team is Republicans or at least maybe independents. I don't think we found any Democrats. One of the things we've done is bring in very, very interesting and speakers who educate us on issues. We've brought in the president of the Republican Party of Texas. We had a joint meeting with the Republican Party group on that one. We brought in Ted Cruz's dad. We shared that with the Republican Party, the official party. But we brought in literally dozens of other people on all of the major hot button topics so that people can talk about it. We brought in 3 people to talk about vouchers, educational vouchers. We brought in a person who said, you know, I'm all in favor of vouchers. We brought in one person who said, I really don't want vouchers. And we brought in a person that had another opinion altogether. And they talked very civilly for about an hour. It was a very fascinating discussion where people could go in and hear multiple sides of an issue. And I think that's what we need to do.
Thank you, Steve. Barbara, you're up.
Well, as I said in my opening, we have grown to be one of the reddest counties in Texas. We are strongly conservative. And I believe that we need to all pull together, hitch up, pull together. You saw Clydesdales in the Super Bowl. Hey, they know how to pull together. So we need to pull together, work for our conservative values, work for Texas, and work for Palo Pinto County.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions